dalam BuzzPOP hari ini kita bakal membincangkan tentang My Hero Academia Season 5 episod 15. Para panelis kita malam ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV, serta kaki anime kita Shazli American. What's up bro?
Yo.
Dan juga kaki manga kita Anri Alwi. What's up man?
Yo.
Yo.
Okay, so kita kembali selepas seminggu bercuti. And unfortunately, aku rasa macam engine dia tak panas lagi tu. You know, effectively, it's a bit technical lah. So, jom kita mulakan perbincangan malam ini dengan reaksi satu ayat. Alright, so reaksi satu ayat aku untuk episod My Hero Academia minggu ini adalah bila otai ajar level up cara teknikal. Kita nampak macam wow, macam level number 2 hero tu sekarang aku macam have a newfound respect lah. Macam okay, this fucking knows his shit man. It's like dia bukan, number 1 bukan number 2. Number 1 hero ni. Because before this, kau selalu tengok All Might macam yeah. Kau macam, you never thought of it from a technical standpoint. But bila aku dengar Endeavor bersyarah, aku macam, wow. That's how kau level up your powers to become number 1. So, apakah reaksi satu ayat anda bagi episod minggu ini? Silakan Shaz.
Well, they are moving to the advanced punya level sekarang ni lah. Because quite frankly, benda yang Endeavor ajar ni reminds me of the games that we play. It's like you dah tahu the basic tau, but now you're learning the advanced level on how to move up. So I think he's a good teacher in that sense, but whether he's a good mentor further down the road, kita tak tahu lagi lah.
Yeah. I feel like dia lebih technical daripada the teachers before this lah, daripada Aizawa, daripada Vlad. It's like Mamat ni cara dia cakap kan, it's like wow, like in the field baru kau fikir macam bila kau tengah kejar perpetrator, trying to get him away from the highway, so you lessen the number of people affected, and then how like it's a matter of life and death. Kalau kau satu saat lambat, bukan kau kalah tapi orang mati. Aku macam
that girl almost became isekai girl, kau tahu.
Yeah man. Anri, reaksi satu ayat silakan.
Okay, this episode was basically a shit talker episode. Because everyone was talking shit. Deku was talking shit.
Yeah.
And Devu also was talking shit. He gave a lot of drama. Oh, you must power up, store it, and then release. And then Deku, you must do two, 3 things at once. And then I'm like, hey, you're saying the same thing. Just do it until it becomes muscle memory. You don't have to give all this big talk. You just have to just do it. This is your practical. You were studying in UA, and now you're doing your what you call this, your internship.
Yeah.
You just do it. Buat saja.
Tapi macam megah juga cara dia cakap tu, you know. It's like, it sounds like wow, gila. Although intipati dia adalah just do it a lot of times.
You have to understand, he has his own building, his own office, his own PR department, so he can talk shit professionally as a professional hero. Macam, but not like All Might. All Might is like a freelancer.
Okay, Shaz, do you agree?
I agree a lot actually. Dia yang menariknya kan is if you look at Endeavor, dia punya cara dia ajar tu is literally orang yang building blocks punya type of person tau. Okay, first aku kena belajar buat ini. Dan aku kena belajar buat ini. Which is why he always compare with All Might, because All Might is a prodigy but he's a lousy teacher.
He's an exception to the rule, kata.
Dia prodigy, so it comes naturally to him. Tapi it's like kau pergi ke, let's say Michael Schumacher kan, tolong ajar aku ni. Oh, kau pijak lah pedal. Okay. Lepas tu bila kau sampai corner, kau break lah. When do you break? How far away do you break? You know, dia kira the acceleration time, dia punya braking time and all that. Dia tak boleh sebab benda tu is like second nature to him.
Yeah.
And he's in Schumacher's case, he's a prodigy in racing lah. So dalam case ni kan, because he wasn't a prodigy, he earned every single step along the way. That's why he can break it down into a process.
Which is cool lah. Which is cool to
Yeah,
see.
it's very nice the way they did it.
Selepas 5 season, for somebody to actually be so, beholden to the process of repetition. Tapi at least dia boleh cakap secara teknikal lah. It's like, kau dah pandai buat ais macam ni, sekarang kau gunakan untuk api kau pula. Itu macam SHOTO macam
all this time semua anime fan cuma kenal dia sebagai orang lempang bini, orang lempang anak.
Yes.
That's all. You never actually see Endeavour the hero. I mean, we all don't dislike his family side, but now you see lah, he's actually a very good hero. Dia bukannya just because dia ni badan besar, api besar kan. So he earned it. He earned the number 1 position.
And I feel in the last 2 episodes kita nampak yang Endeavour ni sebenarnya ada otak. Dia bukan macam aku besar, aku boleh buat api. He looks like that, tapi his brains over bronze lah, that's for sure. So judul episod minggu ini adalah One Step at a Time, di mana Endeavour akur dengan perintah commission, maka mengajar DEKU, BAKUGO dan SHOTA bagaimana untuk refine their powers dengan cara yang amat teknikal sekali. And satu komen untuk segmen ini daripada Mofa di YouTube, original episode yang detailkan perkara yang tak diceritakan dalam manga.
Yeah.
This wasn't in the manga?
No, it wasn't. This episode is basically a filler episode. Next week, it's basically Suyu Adventures Part 2.
Yeah. I know that's next week.
But
Mofa is saying that this is also a filler episode that wasn't in the manga?
No, this happened. It's just the presentation is different.
Okay. Cool. Dan Caleb Paul mengatakan a new hero. Siapa yang new hero?
Banyak kot don't introduce. Yang mana?
A new villain ada. A new villain. Okay, dengan sebab itu
they went through a lot of heroes when they show all the students. Kan dia orang pergi to which pro hero agency.
I was happy that 1B was also involved. 1B pun ada. Miss Mushroom tu pun ada. Aku macam
Aku sedih tu mama hitam tu.
Hero apa? Kuro hero.
Dia akan sentiasa ikut the girl, tapi the girl macam like la la la. Tak kisah.
Okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke 5 babak menarik daripada episod minggu ini. Babak menarik kita yang pertama adalah tentang Hawks, Triple Agent, di mana kita melihat Hawks infiltrate the Meta Liberation Army dan juga the League of Villains sambil spying untuk the Commission. So kita ada 5 quote menarik. Pertama adalah daripada Hawks. Dia mengatakan, I'm trying my best to preach the idea of liberation across the country. Kemudian first time kita nampak main villain kita daripada Meta Liberation Army, Redestro, mengatakan, about this book you've been giving up to pro heroes. You must have read it very thoroughly since you mark all the lines with Destro in them. You're one of a handful of people who understand it. Aku macam, dahlah nama kau Redestro, adakah kau sebenarnya Destro? Gimana? Kemudian Redestro menambah, the spreading of our ideology will be hastened with you working on its publicity. We would be glad if you could talk some teenagers into your cause. Aku macam, kan dia nampak dia lepas buku dekat DEKU, dekat SHOTO, dekat BAKUGO kan?
Yeah. The timeline, this meeting is actually a flashback.
Oh fuck, is it? Oh,
because he just found out dalam that meeting punya scene, he just found out.
Oh,
that's why
kita bincang lagi.
He tell this one. Endeavor.
Ada dua quote lagi. Himiko Toga mengatakan, no, it cannot be because Himiko Toga said, oh my god, Deku. Bro, it's after he met Deku.
Okay. Betul. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, Himiko Toga mengatakan 4 months from now, everything will be raised by Tomura Shigaraki. Kemudian Hawks akhirnya mengatakan, I need to know their exact ni dalam otak dia. I need to know their exact numbers and their hideouts across the country. All heroes siding with them will be taken out once and for all. If I fail, some villains might slip away, posing a greater threat to the citizens. So pada spekulasi anda, apakah yang bakal dilakukan oleh Shigaraki dalam 4 bulan lagi yang akan menghancurkan sistem masyarakat hero di Jepun? Adakah ia akan lebih teruk daripada ancaman Stain maupun All for One sebelum ini? Silakan kita mulakan dengan Shaz. Silakan Shaz.
Okay, there's a few things kita boleh discuss. Firstly is, you notice that even Redestro noticed that all those books have been highlighted. So that was actually Hawks punya long-term planning in case he needs to send out a encoded message. He does it regularly and then he just spreads all the books around. So that was already seeding for the time when he needs to send out information in the form of a book. So dah ada precedence. Oh, dia bagi benda ni is what he's been doing all this time, because they don't check the book that he just handed out. That to Endeavor kan. So they assume it's the same thing lah. Dapat Endeavor tu. That will be
pandai dia tipu Metal Liberation Army.
Yeah, so that was already he set the trap kat situ lah, in the sense that he already prepared communication lines. So dia depan dia boleh menipu je. Second, aku rasa in the long term it seems like the Shigaraki punya side and Redestro punya side are cooperating, but they're not like of the same group. Make sense tak?
But they were in the same meeting room. Aku macam
yes, they were just the same meeting room, but they probably have their own agendas. It's just that their agenda aligned at this point of time, so because of that they can work together. So aku rasa it is, if it's going to be a nationwide when you think kan, it's likely going to be a discrediting punya campaign. They will cause so much simultaneous chaos and riot to the point where heroes can no longer contain the chaos. And then from that point onwards, we will see lah, either they will come in as heroes or it's a total breakdown of society lah. Dari
so
segi
macam,
that they incite chaos in the sense.
Deka City tu was a test run? Is that your speculation?
There was a test run. So they wanted to see, because you see banyak sleeper agents across the whole country tau. So out of all the sleeper agents, berapa ramai yang unregistered tapi kawan. Contoh like if I was inside Liberation Front kan, I might be able to recruit you, Anri, gang-gang BuzzPOP and everything. And I'm the only person who is inside the Liberation Front, but everybody else who believes in me sebab saya budak baik, boleh percaya, I might just trigger off everybody. So when heroes are part of the Liberation Front, they might end up being able to recruit unofficial people around who will just buat kecoh. The villains, of course, they will just do the normal thing lah. Hey guys, we're going to have a big kecoh, let's party. So being selfish type of characters who are looking out for themselves most of the time, and with profit to be made from looting and whatnot, boleh lah, they can go lah.
Betul. Anri, your thoughts about it? Tapi
sorry, I just nak mention, aku tak setuju that he's a triple agent. He is through and through on the hero punya side, but he plays the game very well tau. That's the beautiful part of Hawks punya character ni.
So far dia tak backstab commission lagi lah. But he might. Anri, what are your thoughts about this? What could happen 4 months from now with Shigaraki?
I've read the manga, so I know exactly what happens in 4 months. But when I saw this for the first time, I had this feeling that they're going to do something like what the Viet Congs did in Vietnam during the 70s. They had this one day where they attack every military outpost of the US in one day at the same time and overrun the things. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, and
Ganas, ganas.
yeah, but they have 100,000 people yang Hawks know so far. They may have more, they may have less. But even if they have like 50,000 people, macam 50% punya presence yang active,
Yeah.
can you imagine what damage 50,000 people can do? I said 2 weeks ago that ISIS, the army of the Leviathan, whatever they call it, right? They took over parts of Iran, Iraq, and Syria, and they numbered like what 15,000. Imagine 50,000 meta-humans mengamuk.
Yeah.
It's going to be uh, like I said 2 weeks ago, an asteroid of shit hitting the Earth, and everyone gets
Crazy.
covered with it. The aftermath. But also put into consideration when one legit bad guy yang ada power, the quick user mengamuk kan, you realize how many people come in, the heroes like nak contain the area, take him down and stuff. It's basically like macam 1, 2, 3, 4 team punya play. If they have like 50,000 people attack at the same time or 100,000, they need like maybe 400, 500, half a million people to heroes to actually take them down if they do go all out.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be havoc, man.
Yeah.
Chaos. Chaos is
But-
a ladder.
I'm not saying that this is gonna happen. I'm saying it was my first initial punya guess lah when I was reading the manga.
Okay.
I mean, if you think about it lah kan dalam this episode they clearly define tau the difference between hero dengan sidekick. The sidekicks ni are more like we'll do what we can, but ultimately it's the heroes who end up being the more capable ones. So I mean that's why most likely there is like lower heroes. Like probably kalau Gentle Criminal did not become a villain character, he could have become a sidekick.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So there are people who are less capable, but they are still able to serve in a supporting cast punya role lah.
In the society.
So you imagine if 50,000, let's say like half the number of meta-human macam Anri mentioned tadi, if they all of those were hero level punya type characters, susah kita. Susah kita, like we're living there.
Betul.
Yeah, but I mean even if half of that 50,000 was hero level punya power output, it's going to be very chaotic.
I can't wait, man. Kita masih ada.
Yeah, and let me add during the first episode of season 5, where we see yang the town yang kena destroyed by that island, they say it was caused by one rogue punya quote user kan.
Yang mana?
Imagine if like 1% of this 100,000 punya
I think it was
army
the
kan.
giant guy in the bushes.
Yeah.
At
Just
the start.
At the start. Imagine 1% can have like the same power as this guy or half the power as this guy. That's 1,000 people that has that power. Or it's like having a hydrogen bomb that's walking around punching everything inside. That is scary.
Aku ternampak dekat Twitter ada satu kimak ni tweet like the latest chapter of My Hero Academia. Maybe aku boleh cakap dengan Anri je lah lepas live stream ni. Tak boleh, Shaz tak boleh. But it's spoilery as fuck. Aku macam bengang gila, macam apa aku ternampak. Damn it. But anyway, kita akan bacakan beberapa komen dari penonton di rumah sekarang. Pertama, daripada YouTube, Ayat berkata, salam kepada panelis. Nak tanya, tak ada buat review untuk anime Boruto ke? Unfortunately tak. Attack on Titan, One Piece, Boruto, kita orang tak cover. Tapi kita looking forward to covering the more newer ones. Contohnya macam Jujutsu Kaisen ataupun Demon Slayer. So tengoklah yang mana yang kita sempat kejar. Yes. Yang My Hero Academia ni pasal effectively BuzzPOP memang cover superheroes, and then I think this is a nice entryway untuk kita start covering anime. So kita mulakan dengan My Hero Academia, but the plan is to eventually cover Jujutsu Kaisen dan juga Demon Slayer. So tengok macam mana. Boruto dah season berapa sekarang
Tak
Too
tahu
much.
langsung.
Yes. So macam One Piece
Anime semua
too
ni
much.
banyak history kat belakang tu. So
Yeah.
it's quite hard to
Attack on
catch up.
Titan soon to be final season. Lepas tu Boruto too much juga. So benda yang kita susah nak catch up, kita orang kalau boleh tak cover lah kot. Kita cuba cover benda-benda yang baru nak hype ataupun tengah hype, ataupun ya contohnya yang the top 3 sekarang ialah Demon Slayer dan juga Jujutsu Kaisen. So Tokyo Revengers aku tak sure. Tokyo Revengers dah ada ke season 1?
That's actually
Okay.
it's heading towards middle or ending lah.
Okay, cool. Tengoklah, maybe Tokyo Revengers pun aku tak tahu, tapi yang tu macam interesting juga. So kita tunggu dan lihat. Okay, seterusnya kategori The Great mengatakan bulu pelepah boleh dengar orang cakap. Pada aku this is a nice implementation of his powers, man. It's not just flight. Macam setiap feather tu macam he keeps coming up with cool ways. It's pretty cool lah. Apa pendapat korang tentang dia punya listening skills menggunakan bulu pelepah? Is that a reach or that was kind of cool? Silakan.
I found it's quite cool, tapi aku tak boleh nak faham dia punya logic behind it tau. Because yeah, you can hear the vibrations. You can feel the vibration with enough training lah. Tapi kau dengar kat sini kot. Yes, kita ada headset earphone yang jenis yang letak kat kepala, bones kat sini tau. Tapi for it to extend from the wing is quite amazing lah, sensitive gila lah.
Pasal kita ada 26 alphabets. So that's 26 vibrations untuk dia think of, and then bila kau campurkan it to form words, and then words become sentences, macam wow, that's a lot of vibrations, man.
Kau jangan lupa dia orang cakap Jepun.
Oh
They
my
are
god.
literally in
26.
Japan.
Oh my god. Yeah, man.
Dah lah you kena listen and everything. So it's one of those things yang aku terima je lah. Aku terima je lah.
Mafam
There's a lot of things they ask us to terima pun.
Yeah.
Hawks banyak kelebihan sebab dari kecil dah diajar untuk jadi spy. Ya, Anri?
Actually, it was mentioned that Hawks was taken by the commission at a young age, so he may be taught, trained, or maybe have some modifications done onto him by the commission to become macam info gathering hero.
Yeah, like a messenger bird.
Yeah, that's most likely out. That's the most likely thing that's happening lah. But without him actually clarifying, that's the only theory that we can assume that's most accurate for the moment lah.
Okay. Soalan seterusnya daripada Arif Fikri Arifuddin. Sejauh mana Hawks ni jadi double agent? Bila kantoi? Ke tak kantoi sampai sekarang? Any indication in the future?
Tapi tak nak jawab sebab dia tahu jawapan dia.
Kalau jawab spoil.
Itulah kan. Okay, yang ni aku jawab.
Okay.
Aku punya spekulasi teori Brazil, it will come to a point where either the three ni under Endeavor sendiri yang akan bertemu dengan dia orang, and a little blow might come, so he's forced to discard his double agent ni to protect them. Kalau tidak, someone might die. Aku rasa that's the only scenario. Kalau tidak he's just going to stay undercover for a long time.
Betul. It's to save the day That's the only
It's
time
to
he
save
will
the day.
reveal himself. Okay.
But the tragedy is, mungkin dia sendiri akan cedera. Inilah aku punya teori lah.
Aku save the day tapi aku mati. Ding.
Tak adalah
Okay.
mati. Peminat ramai aku tahu. The female kau tahu.
Okay lah. Tak mati macam Night Eyes lah. Tak mati.
Itulah.
Dia akan jadi macam Le Million. Dia akan jadi, aku hilang kuasa je. Okey, seterusnya soalan Mofah untuk Anri ya. Nak tanya pendapat Anri secara simple je jawapan dia without being spoilery. Anri setuju tak dengan apa yang masyarakat hero buat masa perang Liberation War ini nanti? Setuju atau tak dengan cara mereka? Because untuk Mofah dia tak setuju. They can do better. So your thoughts after reading the manga?
Personally, I don't agree with the government. I agree with the motivations, the Liberation Army. It's just that I don't think their methods are right, but their intent is noble. It's good. It's correct. Memang betul. There's something wrong with society, and we need to change it. But we're doing this radically, too radical. I don't want to get political, but there are some things in our country right now that we need to change.
Yeah, definitely.
Regarding the MCO, but
Betul.
yeah. Apa kendaya kan, rakyat marhin biasa.
Yeah, kita hanya boleh tengok orang pergi Paris, bro. Kita tak boleh pergi Paris, kita tengok orang pergi Paris je.
But what I really want to see lah, which we will learn later on ni, aku nak tengok adakah siapa yang akan backstab siapa in the Liberation Front. Because based on the dialogue Hawks mentioned, aku rasa the heroes in the Liberation Front are not aware of Dabi punya Shigaraki punya group punya participation.
Maybe dia hanya percaya the ethos of
they believe in the book punya teachings which was hijacked lah. So aku nak tengok when or like the big reveal lah when it finally happens lah.
Betul. Seterusnya kita ada kategori The Great mengatakan hero ajar budak sekolah lawan tentera pengganas dari sekolah. Yes, kita akan bincangkan ni dalam segmen kita yang seterusnya, tapi that sounds very spoilery. Tentera pengganas dari sekolah. Ada sleeper agent ke babi? It's like okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang kedua. Babak menarik kita yang kedua adalah tentang The Commission, Youth Strategy, di mana Endeavour akur dengan perintah The Commission. So kita ada tiga quote. Quote pertama daripada Endeavour, di mana dia baca balik clue tu and then dia berfikir, is Hawks working as an undercover within the enemy ranks? Kemudian kita jump to The Commission dengan arahan dia, please give the students more opportunities to fight the enemies. That should help with your self-development as well. Hone their skills to the limits with this internship endeavor. Dan seterusnya Hawks mengatakan, seriously, I question the morality of this. How could they use the students as insurance for our failure? So, soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang pelan The Commission untuk menggunakan hero student interns sebagai harapan masa depan masyarakat hero di Jepun? Adakah masyarakat hero yang kini aktif sudah dibolusi oleh fahaman Meta Liberation Army sepenuhnya hinggakan remaja terpaksa jadi harapan bangsa? Shaz, apa pendapat kau?
See, this is the part yang kita come back to my favorite drawing 50 sen ni. The people in power are using things which are dodgy. Benda yang sepatutnya dia tak buat, tapi dia buat. You boleh coordinate dengan polis, dengan askar, dengan Air Force. You boleh coordinate dengan hero-hero lain from country lain. But instead, you choose to rely on an unpredictable punya force. The student punya body. So, it's like, that's why akan ada orang yang akan setuju dengan the hero punya society. And macam Anri pun mention that the Liberation Front punya niat tu betul tau. Cuma implementation tu tak betul lah, maybe. Dan kita kena tengok later on lah bila dia masuk dalam anime ni. But it goes to show that the hero society has something wrong with it. And now kita boleh nampak kat mana dia punya masalah-masalah yang timbul ni lah. Things like this. When they are misusing future heroes, the fact that you have to go to school, you kena ada proses to
Weeding out of
weeding
talent.
out. Or I almost say pruning, tapi dah kita reserve untuk Friday nanti. dah nanti bercampur dengan cerita lain pula kan. But yeah, they have a gatekeeper to become a hero. And then bila jadi hero, it is actually a hero business sebenarnya. Even Endeavour pun became kind of rich partly from this business as a hero. Sampai ada agensi berpuluh-puluh orang working under him.
Yeah. It's Anri, apa pendapat kau? Like, what do they mean by using them as a failsafe? The interns as a failsafe? What the fuck?
Okay, when the commission says use this the tiga hero bujang lapuk that's Deku, Shoto and Bakugo untuk help around fighting the enemy. It's not because they're youth. It's just it's because they're the most highly potential, powerful youth yang UA ada masa tu. They're the ones who are going to be forced to go to the front lines first. Dia punya kawan semua dalam kelas 1B, 1A will follow suit, but they were a part of the plan juga untuk guna youth as part of the fodder. There's no other words as fodder for the commission punya war machine. Hawks is against this because he himself is that youth yang the commission use. Yeah. So he knows for a fact kan the dangers, the injustice of them getting involved in these sort of things so early on. I mean, okay, they all agree to become heroes, masuk UA and stuff.
Yeah.
They want to, but they don't know the gravity. Have they ever seen anyone die before them?
Not yet.
Not yet. Are there counseling for the classes? They were attacked like a lot of times from Shigaraki do season 1, training dekat hutan. I've never seen them actually being brought to a counseling session or being asked, do you still want to continue after all this? There's no review at all.
Yeah.
So we see the exploitation that the commission do for this youth. And Hawks in general, even though he's a double agent right now, working for Redestro and the Liberation Army, he understood what it takes to gain their trust. He shared them dia punya background because they know for a fact he's a commission boy. They don't know what the commission did to him, but they know that he's part of the commission. So him being a possible ally for them is something they cannot actually dismiss, even though it's high stake thing. And we see Dabi kata, I don't trust you yet. You have to do all these things. You have to jump through this hoop of fire, blah blah. Whatever I tell you, you do it lah. Jadi budak balaci mana apa-apa lah. So we can see that Hawks, even though he's playing with the enemy, he understood the enemy. So that makes him actually be a better agent at it. But when he comes back to the side yang he's serving, the commission, the hero side, he sees these things and he questions lah. And his loyalty is tested. Even at that point, we see his struggle. We see him look at Deku. He's like, I want to help these guys. Macam Tokoyami.
Yeah. He said about Tokoyami. Yeah.
He wanted to train him as a hero because he sees a lot in him, himself in him, in Tokoyami. But he knows that if he trains Tokoyami to become a better hero, right, he's going to be pushed further to the front line. So he makes it difficult for Tokoyami to actually become a better hero. But he knows he cannot be half-assed about it, because if he doesn't train Tokoyami betul-betul, Tokoyami will be a weak hero and possibly die in the course of action of this training or job, like whatever it is lah.
But isn't that a fucked up strategy? Isn't that like child militia? You are weaponizing children or teenagers to be your cannon fodder. Isn't that fucked up?
It's fucked up, but it's what they're doing right now. No
Yeah.
matter what you cut, how you cut it, they deliberately send all these potential heroes kan into a school for the elite. They spend basically a city punya budget kan. They literally build a city for them to explode, train, whatever kan,
Yeah.
to become heroes. And then happens after the training? They join the workforce. They said they will become heroes, but actually they are licensed. Who prints out this license? Commission.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a systematic thing going on actually. So when you said just now that these heroes yang heroes ni adalah harapan bangsa negara, right? It's actually these young heroes is actually the tools for them to actually maintain the regime. So that's
Exploitation lah.
exploitation. So that's why when I got the question about do you agree with the Liberation Army or not, I said I agree with the motives. I just don't agree with the methods. So reading more and more of the anime and manga, you would see that the villains, they had a lot of justice on their side as well compared to the heroes. You'll see bit by bit lah. There still be villains, but you understand them. It's basically a good plot writing from the mangaka.
Definitely. I feel like aku mula-mula teruja dengan MHA because I felt like it was a Marvel version of Harry Potter, you know. Like that's how I got into it. It's like, ada sekolah untuk superhero. But you see, with Harry Potter, there was agency. There was the prophecy of the boy that could, you know, the boy that survived. So sekolah tu is not a factory to produce wizards to fight the wizarding war. The war was just something that happened on the side. So now yang ni is tonggang terbalik because they are effectively just a factory making more superheroes to keep the system in place. It's fucked up though. It's fucked up. Shaz, any thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting that we're looking at dia punya hero processing, the hero production punya facilities ni kan, because they limit the number of heroes tau. So they literally wrote themselves into this corner by limiting the number of students that can become heroes. We're not talking about UA saja. I mean across the whole country, there's multiple schools for all this hero development. But why 2-3 classes saja? Why not have 20 class sekaligus for the hero course? Those who can reach the top tier become heroes. The bottom tier can support dari segi becoming sidekicks. Because ultimately, you want bodies on the ground. You want to instill dia punya heroism. You want to instill the patriotism to the country and so on. So by limiting the number of heroes because you cannot manage them.
Yeah, tapi on the flip side, kalau kau base it on X-Men pun, there's only one school, Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. Dalam dunia tu, you have a whole sub-community of Morlocks. Basically, mutation yang tak handsome, mutation yang tak cantik, mutation yang tak berguna. So, aku rasa in this world juga, bukan semua orang kuat macam All Might. Kadang-kadang ada kuasa bangang gila kot. You know, so bukan semua orang can contribute to society
No, in that sense.
Hero. Yeah.
No, in that sense, dia macam ni. It's more like you can have the sidekick level characters who are macam mamak yang ada hidung macam kucing, telinga kucing, but he does not actually as fast as a kucing, that kind of thing. But because he wants to join and support the heroes, there is one less radical element that you have to deal with. And when when dia macam kalau you dalam sukan and everything kan, only the best become the heroes. The next tier to become your support tau, to make sure that the hero is as good as they are.
Do you agree?
And when you have a lot of people who have been trained on how to be a hero, So you have no problems working for the heroes later on.
I guess so. Anri?
Dia macam orang yang masuk rela and all that kan, they are given training and all that.
Yeah,
But they're not our
police.
frontline armies. They are the reserve.
Yeah.
Okay, I can guess a few reasons why they limit number of heroes tau.
Mhm.
The heroes in UA, right, is basically the top tier heroes that they're training. Maybe we don't see it. Maybe they have some secondary training for less potential heroes. But in case of UA and sekolah yang mana Kemi pergi kan, and those guys with uniforms go, right, they're considered elites, and they the main reason I know or I guess that they want so few elites filtered from the process is because the more elites you have, the more secrets you can share, the more roles you can actually diverge to them. Because we all know in the case of heroes, right, you only a hero until you live long enough to become a villain or dead in action. So every hero yang they trust with certain information is a liability, and if they live long enough, they become a loose end. So they have to make a decision what happens after some time. So I think that's part of main reason why we have so few elites in the academies lah. I think it's because they want to have this risk management in place.
Yeah, but on the flip side, by having this elite
Yeah.
system, you have people that fall through the cracks, macam gentleman bugler tu. Dia terpaksa jadi villain because dia tak dapat jadi elite. You know, it's like
Exactly. That's why I disagree with the way the government is doing in this My Hero Academia universe. They know it's a flawed system, but they protect it anyway, and they still use it religiously. They do this every year. They do it all the time. It's basically entertainment. It's like a gladiator sport for the selection, for the competition. They do this for the PR to boost confidence, but not because of efficiency or moral justifications. They do it because it's convenient for them to have elites to be placed on top of the other heroes, and all these secondary heroes kan, they will say, oh, I did not go to UA, I go to macam sekolah menengah something, and I go to university, they have a hero course there but it's not recognized. I have to do my internship with these elite heroes. Maybe I become a legit hero one day, maybe I'll join the elites one day. So they purposely build barriers for these heroes kan to actually overcome. Padahal kan they're probably good enough in the first place, just that they are not properly filtered because of, you know, the commission reasons lah.
damn. There's so many Shinsos out there yang wasted potential, man. Wasted potential.
Memang.
Yeah. So, aku akan bacakan beberapa komen. Pertama daripada Mofa. Sejak dari movie 2, sekejap. Okay, Mofa mulakan dengan talking about the overlay. Perempuan ni patut mati. Orang kena mati sebab dia lebih kurang Menteri Malaysia. Sebelum kita dikecam oleh Cyber Troopers, aku akan sambungkan the next comment. Sejak dari movie 2 menunjukkan orang atasan ni buat benda tak fikir kemungkinan yang buruk jadi. How can diorang tinggal pelajar tanpa ada senior hero untuk jaga satu pulau? Oh yeah, in the second movie.
Oh, that was funny.
I think that was the holiday. It was a working holiday. Maybe that just turned to shit. So
Yep.
yeah, macam itulah. Kemudian dia menambah, memang hanya pulau kecil, tapi anything can happen. Nasib baik cerita ni nak buat geng-geng deku hidup. Kalau ikut logik, maybe ada kematian if dia orang nak bawa ke arah tu. Yeah, actually 9 should have killed at least like 5 class member ke. So like next season kena ada class member baru. It's actually it's fuck lah. Tapi dalam Harry Potter pun tak ada siapa mati kot. Okay lah, Weasley punya brothers mati lah in the war, but
banyak kok orang mati dalam Harry Potter.
yeah.
It started with book 4. Then after that, people started dying.
Yeah. I think one of the black kids died. Yeah. We need more people dying in UA, man. Baru rasa feel. Ke Anri dah tahu sebenarnya ni. So Anri macam, kimak budak-budak ni bodoh.
I can't comment without spoiling lah.
Okay.
Baik menganjingnya.
Okay, seterusnya kategori The Great mengatakan, yelah, terfikir balik, kenapa tak guna tentera je untuk attack High Rank Liberation Army? Ada kecacatan dalam commission. Wah, okay, we are bordering on spoilery of the Meta Liberation War. Okay, the thing is,
yang ni is actually aku rasa dia orang nak avoid the perception of a hero civil war.
oh, and then dia menambah, harap ada balik polis kepala anjing tu buat kerja jadi sleeper agent. Polis kepala anjing, aku tak ingat tu. Ni masa yang lawan
Ada.
Yakuza.
Masa was it Stain punya episode ke? Or was it masa Bakugo kena kidnap?
I think it was Stain. After abang apa tu yang spek mata tu.
Because after Bakugo, the arc yang Bakugo kena kidnap, All Might dah tak ada power. Masa tu All Might ada power lagi. I think around the Stain punya time.
Masa abang Mamat ketua kelas tu. Seterusnya dia menambah
Ida pengamuk.
Ilda ya. Rasa ada hero course yang banyak tapi sekolah lain-lain. Kan ada waktu lesson exam banyak-banyak student tu tapi cuma UA ni famous sekolah. I'm quite like terkilan yang kita tak nampak sekolah-sekolah lain because that was one of my favorite things masa Harry Potter where kau ada inter-school championship tu pun tiba-tiba kau ada Beau Baxtons daripada France and then kau ada lagi satu sekolah daripada Russia. And kita dah belajar yang kau ada American school and then kau ada Japanese school. You even have an Indonesian school. So the idea that the wizarding world is huge, it's like pretty mind-blowing to me. And now we're like 5 seasons into My Hero Academia, we have yet to actually see another school. Kita baru sampai like, ada kelas 1A, ada kelas 1B. Aku macam,
ada lah ni. Mungkin kau tak tengok kot. Dia orang punya license, provisional license punya ni. They actually fought against all the schools because semua target UA dulu.
Yeah.
Mungkin it was season kau tak tengok lagi kot.
Season berapa tu?
Before they got their provisional license, they had to go and take the test. So one of it, they had to fight with other schools.
Okay.
Season 3.
Kalau tidak kita tak kenal Mamat Tornado tu. Kalau if you remember, ingat tak dalam this season ni, they meet Mamat yang kepala jerung tu.
Yeah.
And there was a few other students. Kami, ada Mamat yang macam topi macam askar and all that. Those are all different school students.
Oh.
Rival schools.
Yeah, it was actually quite a lengthy arc jugalah. It was quite fun. We got to see them fight each other.
Are we going to see more schools in the future? Cause shit hit the fan, no more schools. Tak boleh jawab.
Without being spoilery, I don't think he can.
Okay, tak apa. Okay, so dua komen terakhir untuk segmen ini. Mofa mengatakan, satu, dia tak tunjuk mati dalam movie sebab movie ke arah filler. So dalam anime maybe ada yang mati nanti. Maybe. Nak menjedapkan hati kita.
Mofa punya gitu.
Sebab kalau diorang mati dalam movie nanti kesenambungan dalam manga tak sama. Yes. Betul, pasal mereka yang tu lari daripada actual storyline. Alright, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen kedua ini dan kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang ketiga. Alright, so babak menarik kita yang ketiga adalah tentang Endeavor, reluctant mentor, di mana Endeavor berubah fikiran dan menjadi mentor kepada Deku dan Bakugo sekali. So, dua quote menarik. Pertama daripada Burning, Endeavor is only interested in mentoring SHOTO. So, you two will be following me. Kemudian Endeavor keluar daripada office dia. The internship serves as a precaution. Dia berfikir dalam otaknya. Give me a break. I can't really agree with this. But for the time being, ... Kemudian dia menjerit, SHOTO, Deku, Bakugo, I will be your mentor. So, soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang cara Endeavor pilih kasih dan originally only cared about mentoring his own son, SHOTO? Adakah dia macam dia nak one-on-one time dengan dia punya son, tapi tiba-tiba commission cakap like, no, you have to teach them the ropes, you have to make sure they become the best. So, apa pendapat kau, Shazli? Silakan.
It's quite obvious that he was hoping that anak dia dah berubah lah, macam dah sejuk sikit dengan the father kan, because he even mentioned it, aku ingatkan anak aku dah warm up to me kan, tapi macam like last I'm a hero because of the hero on TV. I got here by my own will, and never macam like sedih lah. Aku nak marah anak aku tak boleh kan, because he's right,
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I think dia memang dari dulu he's always been very invested in making his son the future number one hero lah. But we know that's not going to happen lah, because the entire series is a flashback kan, long term. Cuma I find that during the thinking dalam dia tengah baca buku semua tu kan, he was dedicated enough to the hero punya cause to actually take the mentoring of all three tau. So he put his hero priority above his family punya responsibility, which honestly is what he does all the time anyway lah kan.
Yeah.
So it's quite consistent dengan his character lah. That's what I would say.
On the flip side, I like that SHOTO finally said like, aku finally doing what you want me to do all along. I hate it, but I understand what you mean now. Something like that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, sebab the father is showing how to use his powers.
Yeah.
Tapi sebab there is an emotional attachment between his father, emotional punya barrier antara dia dengan bapak dia, because of what he did to the mom and masa dia kecil kena belasai shit. So he doesn't want to accept it. He wants to find other ways. Last came back to his endeavor punya style lah. So
yeah. Anri, your thoughts about SHOTO's new revelation. Macam, oh ayah aku nak ajar aku selama ni, tapi aku je yang emo. Your thoughts?
aku anak.
Yeah, before anything I want to say is funny. It's very funny to me when SHOTO kata that I want to become the hero inside TV instead of you. It's basically saying to Endeavor kan, I wish All Might was my daddy.
Yeah. You're not my father.
You're not my real father. I was laughing inside at Endeavor.
Dia terus frame freeze sampai dia dalam pos gelap.
But to say on Endeavor punya characteristic, before he's a father or anything, he's a hero first lah. Dia punya rivalry dengan All Might is basically one of the things yang destroyed his relationship with his family. And he knows this and he's haunted by this. So that's why kan when he finally agreed to train DEKU and BAKUGO, right? He did it out of obligation, not because of anything, but because he's a hero. He knows Hawks kata shit's gonna happen real soon in 4 months. We need as much help we can get. So he's going to train these guys. Padahal dia nak train dengan anak dia sahaja. So he put his ego, dia punya desire on hold for now. And I have to admit, seeing this side of him, the hero which is greater than the father, was something that made me like him more. You don't see this much of a sacrifice from most heroes in a lot of medium lah. Macam US comics, they say, oh, family is everything. But here in My Hero Academia, it's the opposite. He knows his family unit is fucked up. He cannot actually do anything perfect with it. So he does something that he knows he can do better than parenting, which is basically become a hero and training younger heroes. So that's my take on it lah.
Nick frozen lagi.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Boleh dengar tapi video kau sangkut. Okay.
Sorry, aku punya connection ni apa pasal? Anyway, this idea is tak
punya
aku
connection kau teruk ni.
kau ni any pendapat? Sekejap,
Sila ulang. Kita kena contact dia cara medium lain.
Yeah.
Ya.
Okay.
Okay, so while waiting for Nick to kembali, so an interesting point that you mentioned tadi lah, Anri, when they said in 4 months time dia akan serang kan, and why aku ada confusion sikit bila what's the villain girl punya name tu? The Blood
Himiko
Power
Toga.
girl. When Toga mentioned they're going to attack in 4 months, aku realise that it's actually Hawks terkejut because dia tak sangka that the League of Villains akan attack sekali in 4 months time. All this time he was probably thinking it's just the Liberation Front army saja. That's why dalam the opening part of the episode, you can see the reaction in Hawks's face, like alamak, if the villains are going to join in, it's going to be a big problem. And that's why he needed to get further into the thing, because now villains are going to get involved. It's not just hero terpesong and rakyat biasa.
Okay, but the thing is, right, the villains they were crushed in the previous season actually because of the punya alliance dengan Yakuza punya groups tau. So I'm pretty sure that Hawks was more worried about the Liberation Army than the villains themselves lah. But yeah, the main motivation for Endeavor to train these 3 heroes, right, is basically out of fear that they'll be overwhelmed, basically.
Yeah, which is pretty much what the commission is doing lah. That's why, and notice that this time around, the commission dia tak hantar all the students on this enforced punya internship. It wasn't initially part of the plan. It was supposed to be kau balik lah, do whatever you want, cuti, pergi kerja kat McD or some shit. We don't know lah. But it was an enforced punya program, part of the hero punya program. And they specifically said kena hantar kepada hero agency yang efektif, yang produce result. So they are really anticipating a big war lah ni. They really believe that the Liberation Front is going to happen and they're going to really do a nationwide attack.
Yeah,
but
because
masalahnya sebab tak ada detail tau. They do not know where and when.
That's where Hawks come in to get information lah. Because this Hawks is katakan, okay, we know the location of the Liberation Army punya base, but that's only the base of that particular punya area. Hawks knows that it's a nationwide operation tau. So dia nak tahu every location from every base. He wants to know a database, the list kind of all the heroes involved, all the people yang going to get involved.
Betul.
Hi, sorry. There's something wrong with my connection malam ni. Teruk gila.
Most likely banyak streamers or people watching shows lah kat sana.
Itulah. Kita dah 11k case. So semua orang pun tengok porn malam ni dengan kesedihan. Dia menangis kot. Dia menangis melalui air mata lain. So macam tu lah. So anyway, aku akan bacakan satu komen. Sorry, I totally miss what you guys were saying. Tapi
That's
aku
okay.
bacakan satu komen. Ahmad Alami mengatakan Endeavor nak ajak Bakugo, Midoriya dan Shoto pergi perang yang dah biasa combat dengan villains. Your thoughts about this? So memang commission suruh dia orang prep for this lah kan?
That is an interesting thing because initially Shoto yang nak ajak Bakugo dengan Midoriya, and Shoto had zero information about this upcoming Liberation Front. Endeavor pun literally found out on the day that they fought dekat dia punya hometown tu.
So ni kira macam Deus Ex Machina lah. Macam that
yeah.
Christmas party was like, kau tak ada mana nak pergi, jom lah join ayah aku, number one hero. Lepas tu dia macam just at the same time best genies pun tak boleh jadi mentor. Night Eyes dah tak ada. Dia macam everything had to work in place for this Endeavour arc, agency arc to happen lah. So tak apa, walaupun it's a Deus Ex Machina, I hope it leads to great things. Okay, so dengan itu kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang keempat. Okay, so babak menarik kita yang keempat adalah tentang SHOTO dan BAKUGO homework. Di mana Endeavour memberi homework kepada SHOTO dan BAKUGO selepas tengok dia orang in action. Mula-mula dia tanya apa yang korang nak fix. Contohnya BAKUGO nak cakap, I want to fix something that I don't know I need to fix. And then kita ada satu quote yang panjang lebar daripada Endeavour. Dia mengatakan, SHOTO, BAKUGO, I have a practice for both of you. Charge up before releasing. Condense the power. Unleash your maximum output in an instant. And tap release the trust. Choose either one and keep practicing until you manage to do it subconsciously. Oh, by the way, dalam scene bullshit ni banyak kali dia cakap subconsciously. Effectively macam Anri cakap lah, muscle memory lah. So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang technical advice yang diberikan serta praktis yang diminta oleh Endeavour daripada SHOTO dan BAKUGO? Kita mulakan dengan Anri that has thoughts about this. Silakan Anri.
I said it's all bullshit and I stand by it.
Tapi aku suka tu bila dia start cerita pasal kereta tu, which we'll talk about later masa DEKU. Aku tengok dua translation, okay? Aku tengok Netflix punya, and then I saw one from like Kiss Anime or something like that earlier over the weekend. Yang translation tu lagi best because it said something like muscle memory. Yang Netflix punya asyik translate cakap subconscious. They were missing that one technical word yang aku macam first time aku dengar macam wow, that's how it means untuk use your powers. Because macam the most funniest explanation that I heard this year was from Bapa Invincible, Omni-Man kepada Invincible. Dia kata terbang tu macam kau kencing dalam seluar. Benda tu salah tapi kau kena buat. Kencing dalam seluar is how you terbang. Tapi dia kata itulah perasaan kau terbang. Macam kau kencing dalam seluar. Aku macam what the fuck weh? Macam
Actually, that's better advice than Endeavour. So, Endeavour is actually say you must do it subconsciously. You must
control your trust.
Control it. You must limit yourself. Compress your feeling, emotion. It's like kau nak ajar you punya anak buat cerita lucah ke, nak tahan pancut or something. You just read what he said. You can take out of context kan still be correct tau.
Betul. It's like a
and you use the H word, which is basically to me hantai lah. So
hantai word.
So I was like, when I was hearing all this from Endeavour, I'm like, oh, you're dragging things, bullshit betul lah. Why did you say right? Just focus and release.
Yeah.
Do it a lot of times. You see, that's only like 6 words tau. Termasuk nota. And then he can give more advice kan.
Yeah. I kind of like what SHOTO was saying juga. Maksud dia nak turn tu, he did not slow down. He just trusted faster. So actually, SHOTO belajar lagi banyak daripada apa ayah dia tengah bullshit. Just by tengok apa ayah dia buat. Macam, kau makin laju around the corner. Macam kau laju, kau buat api kau jadi fokus. Like he was saying that the fire that you use versus the Nomu, you focused it to make your flying faster. Aku macam, that's better than the bullshit that your father is speaking, man.
Which comes back to Omni-Man. Omni-Man katakan, if you to fly, you have to macam kencing kan. This is exactly what he said. Okay, you kencing kan, you can kencing in a straight line or you can make a straight shot. Focus. And this is exactly what Endeavour is trying to say.
Shaz, pendapat kau? Yeah, I heard you actually like this. Yeah, silakan.
I actually like this scene because there's a few reasons. Firstly, kalau you nak compare dengan other anime, this type of in-depth explanation is something that they always do for the reader punya benefit untuk budak-budak mostly. Because you know dia nak tumbuh blah 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 blah, which is parodied by DEKU himself lah.
Yes.
Dia blah 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 blah.
Sampai burning jadi pening. Macam apa yang dia maksudkan?
What is this rubbish? Sampai Endeavour jawab, he actually understood that shit. But okay. But kalau kita tengok in universe there's two reasons where kenapa Endeavour explain in detail tau with so much words instead of Anri punya method. First is Endeavour being the number one hero. Takkanlah aku nak bagi, you know, korang kena fokus tembak, you know, you kena lah, you know, cakap banyak-banyak, you know, you're number one hero. Now's the time to prove it that you can teach people. Two is because dia nampak, and this is actually the important thing dia nampak DEKU ni has a tendency to practice tapi benda yang tak efficient or tak betul. So he is not taking the chance that maybe these two have also been doing similar things. They are practicing muscle memory and everything, tapi the concept might be slightly off or it can be fine tuned further.
Yes. Aku suka yang dia cakap kat SHOTO like you already know so much about your eyes, now do the same shit for your fire. Lepas tu Mamat tu macam macam what?
Betul, because it's like, which is true, because he has so much control over his eyes, tapi api tu macam I cannot lah sebab aku tak nak practice. You just do what you've done with your eyes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing because it's a emission type punya power kan. It comes out from you. So it's something you can use lah. Whereas macam Bakugo pula, he's already practicing the next step. Dia sebab Endeavour they mention two techniques kan. Satu is how to compress, satu how to release.
Yeah.
So there is the short burst and the full burst of power punya release. So that's why they mention dengan SHOTO you kena belajar the step 1 before you can learn step 2. Siapa ni Bakugo dah lama dah tahu. Siap digelak lagi kan.
Tell me something I don't know. Tell me something I don't know.
I don't notice it Dengan muka. This episode is really Bakugo just becoming like kenapa? Serious though, I totally didn't expect dia punya reaction, muka dia menjadi macam tu tau. Become partial badut, but it's so consistent dengan dia punya perangai.
Tapi bila kita tengok diorang terbang together kan, macam Bakugo macam bangang gila tu. Dia macam Hulk yang baru belajar melompat, ataupun Superman yang baru belajar bukan terbang tapi melompat.
Tapi itulah, itu yang Endeavour kata tu, your agility and speed semua tu is good for a rookie. Sebab pom. Dia tak boleh nak control. Macam he has the ability to focus his shot, like the AP shot. He's very focused punya, narrow punya, explosion punya beam. So if he can use that for propulsion, memang he can actually outpace Endeavour.
He can go faster and further. Yeah. And I think he would be the first yang akan tangkap Endeavour by the end of the internship. Kan dia cakap macam, kalau kau tak boleh tangkap aku, kau takkan pass or something like that. Yeah.
Oh ya ke? Aku punya, my sub was that you have to catch a villain before me.
I think I think it's something like that. You have to catch a villain before me or something like that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So kita ada satu komen daripada Mofa di rumah. Mofa mengatakan Netflix upah translator tak pro tu. Itulah translator kisah anime lagi feel loh bila aku tonton, walaupun pop up macam tak ingat dunia, but I enjoyed reading those subs more than the Netflix one. Netflix one macam
tapi
technical terms dia off. Yeah.
There's a reason for that tau Nick. Even in our language pun sama. Because in Japanese punya language, they tend to have, dia bukan macam kita tahu Ali potong pokok. Kalau kita punya language, we can go deeper tau, macam Ali potong pokok itu. But in Japanese, dia kena macam Ali potong pokok. But it's like what pokok? You have to assume that the pokok is already there. is that pokok is standing next to. So sometimes they omit certain things, and the way dia punya language is structured pun sama macam kita juga, certain words might mean different things. Like contoh,
So that's why you can have difference in subtitling ah.
Contoh kan macam kita kan, when you have the word fire in English, it can be either api or bakar.
Atau kena buang kerja. Kena buang kerja.
Kena buang kerja. That kind of thing. So it's a translation, but a basic translation without looking further into the context of the situation, which is something that more the subtitle groups tend to do lah, which comes back to Mofa punya statement ni. Translator tu tak pro, dia buat kerja biasa je, dia tak ada next level punya kerja.
Contextual punya subtitling.
Contextual punya subtitle.
Aku tak cukup masa nak pergi cari that quote from kisah anime, but it sounded better, especially yang part kereta nanti aku akan bacakan in the next segment. The one on kisah anime was like so much better, man.
Personally, I think the translators from independents are better than what you can get from Netflix, Funimation, because there's more appreciation towards the medium actually. It's not a job, it's something they do with passion, so they took extra care, extra effort.
Betul. It's not a job to them. Dia pasal dia nak share the love with everybody else. Okay. Quote terakhir untuk segmen ini, Mofa mengatakan, Endeavor dengan All Might bagi aku dua pro hero yang tak sesuai jadi cikgu. Aizawa lagi mantap dan tahu cara nak ajar. Yes, tapi Aizawa tak ada bullshit technical terms ni. aku suka.
Aku
dapat
partially.
Aku.
I partially agree dengan Endeavor. Aizawa punya dia macam ni tau. Endeavor, because Endeavor is teaching the technical skill. Tolak All Might. All Might, I agree, is actually not a very good teacher. All Might tu macam, you are not hero, baru nak jadi hero boleh lah, but as you go along, his teaching semua tak boleh pakai actually. Endeavor is teaching based on what we see lah. Assuming that you dah belajar the basics of what it means to be a hero, things that, you know, how to aspire to be hero, benda-benda yang basic you dah belajar dalam sekolah, you dah tahu, which is what Aizawa dah teach. Aizawa teaches the spirit of how to be a hero, and actually kan, despite dia punya muka malas tu, dia actually tahu the development of all dia punya students tau. Dia tahu setiap student punya perangai tak senonoh macam Mineta, siapa yang hard hitter type, siapa yang ada emotional punya problem, macam siapa yang Mamat yang suka, aku selalu tak ingat nama dia, Mamat yang suka animals tu. He got him, tak silap aku, to start speaking more.
Yes,
how
yang pemalu.
You have the power, but you don't know how to use the power tau. You can talk, okay, then after that you talk, then you do what? So he understands, dia boleh faham student dia punya power, and kat mana you boleh grow dari situ. That's why dia jadi cikgu kepada Shinso.
I personally disagree dengan Mofa actually, dengan statement ni. I think Endeavor is a better teacher than All Might. Even though I say that Endeavor banyak bullshit lah. He bullshits, but at least kan when he bullshits, there's something to be learned lah. All Might is basically all powerful. He doesn't have techniques to him. He just powers through. Endeavor, when he explains something, it's like almost the same as Aizawa. Aizawa, dia tak explain. He said, when I say something, you just do it. Okay? Endeavor explains and then asks you to do it. It's basically the same thing. So, despite my comments on Endeavor, I place him on a few levels higher as an educator than All Might lah.
Betul. The only reason kita tak suka Endeavor cakap banyak ni is because we want to watch action. Dalam anime tu, if in universe, we will actually appreciate him telling us all these details. Tapi kita sebagai anime viewer, cukup lah, dah lah, masa tak cukup kan. You are talking about 10 minutes kot dialogue, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, man. Yang makan
Deku-
burger atas rooftop tu. Papi lama
betul
je.
kan? Dah lah Deku punya dialog. Bla 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 bla.
Yeah, you tengok
dah lah tu.
you tengok cara All Might train Deku sebelum dia masuk UA. What does he do? Clean the beach. Bersihkan pantai. That was his training.
Mr. Miyagi style. Yeah.
Yeah. And what happens? He broke his finger, he broke his arm multiple times. At least
Sebab-
Endeavour kan cakap ni kan, okay, you have to compress whatever bullshit or do this thing muscle memory kan. At least when he says this kan, they learn and can do it on their own even if they follow miss burning kan. Cuba imagine kan, All Might give something kan, okay, do this with spirit and plus ultra, and then suruh follow midnight, suruh training dengan dia. I'll be surprised if the heroes not dead at the end of the day.
The problem with All Might ni as a person dia lupa dia prodigy tau. He forgets that he learns things naturally. He can discover a lot of things which comes naturally to him sebab dia prodigy, dia genius. Tapi masalah genius ni kebanyakannya dia tak boleh nak pass knowledge kepada orang. That's why we need actual teachers. Actual teachers dengan people who take the teaching job is very different. You boleh nampak beza. Some people, okay, everybody buka page 231 of this engineering thing because he yang mengajar tu is engineer, bukan a teacher. Because a teacher can take something, he can encapsulate it and then dia akan bagi to you, nah, this is what you need to do, these are the things you need to learn. All Might didn't do that. He wasn't a good teacher. That one aku agree. Tapi Endeavour is a good teacher. Cuma dah lah tadi kita orang tengok Deku tak biar bebel kan. Endeavour pula bebel. Alah cukup lah. And then before you realise it kan, I pause kejap pergi ambil water. 3 minit. Kena con lah, this episode is shit.
Betul lah. Sebab tu dalam WhatsApp group kita aku cakap nothing much happens in this fucking episode.
Yes, banyak cakap. I mean, easily kan Deku punya bebel tu, they could just put it like he start after that everybody was like, instead of voicing Deku punya dialogue tu, you can just make like the spirit tu keluar kan, all that shit cukup lah. Lepas tu Endeavour cakap, maksud kau ini wow, he actually understood all that. Macam you took away like 2 minutes of actual fighting scene time that you can you know, bagilah filler fight pun aku tak kisah.
And like aku tak boleh imagine Tony Stark buat benda bullshit ni dekat Spider-Man. Tak ada pun. Tak ada pun dia macam bagi syarahan teknikal macam ni kan. Aduh, macam tu lah. So dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang kelima. Alright, babak menarik kita yang kelima adalah Deku, Performance Anxiety, di mana Endeavour mengajar Deku cara mengawal kuasanya. So di sini kita ada back and forth antara Endeavour dan Deku, at least 3 quote. So Endeavour mengatakan, first, you must learn how to use your Air Force subconsciously. Leave the secondary black weak power aside for now. Aku macam tapi bukan Deku datang sini nak belajar control his powers kan. Kemudian Deku counter balik, what about parallel thinking? Pasal dia ada cakap tentang parallel thinking awal in the episode. Endeavour kemudian menulis karangan. All in all, people can subconsciously manage several tasks at the same time. Look at that man who's driving his car. He wasn't born with the skill to drive. Tiba-tiba kita tengok Sampu Kibat tengah drive kereta. Apa ni babi? You know. Yet he controls the steering wheel, the brakes and the throttle. He checks the car behind, in and front of him.
He bribes his examiner.
Betul,
500 ringgit.
500 ringgit. And he got his license. He learned those skills one step at a time. So it's like, title drop, one step at a time. And eventually, he can do it subconsciously. Kemudian dia menambah, first, try to do 2 tasks subconsciously. For the next stage, you must do 3 tasks at the same time. Whatever formidable power you have, you need constant and steady effort to master the basics. Aku macam babi panjangnya monolog kau sial.
Goreng.
So,
Goreng
goreng,
bullshit.
goreng musik lah babi. So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang advice daripada Endeavour ini kepada DEKU untuk menggunakan kaedah repetition supaya dia dapat mengawal kesemua kuasanya eventually melalui muscle memory? Kan senang kau cakap repetition, focus, muscle memory. Tapi kau nak cerita tentang kereta, lepas tu kita masuk dalam kereta tu, and then kita tengok mama tu drive kereta, aku macam what the fuck is going on? Shaz, silakan Shaz.
It comes back to the original perspective lah of Endeavour being number one hero, and sebagai mentor aku kena cakap banyak so that aku punya student boleh dengar. Tapi not lah dalam anime bang, aduh. You're taking up valuable anime time. Kalau dalam komik kau bagi dialog panjang macam tu kan, aku baca tu all the manga yang kita ada kan, oh okay, Mamat ni dribble dengan basketball ni dengan berapa speed angle macam ni. Oh, best. Tapi dalam anime we got only so much time. We want to see good fight. So anyway, in universe, the reason he explain so detailed kepada DEKU ni is because DEKU ni jenis orang yang you kena explain in detail. Sebab dia macam like, firstly dia nampak DEKU ni confused sebab ada prodigy nak ajar dia tapi tak kerti ajar, nama dia All Might. So he's teaching you, it's like instead of having this one ties back dengan aku tak ingat was it Bruce Lee ke siapa ke, somebody famous mention, aku lebih takut orang yang practice one kick 1000 kali than a guy who does 1000 kicks once. So if Bruce Lee says that, it's something that you can apply kat sini lah. Because DEKU pun, oh aku ada power ni, aku ada Air Force, tapi kan aku akan power dia drain, it needs me to put output of 20% of my inner power, but which will cause me stress. So aku nak tembak pun aku takut, lepas tu aku tembak sakit, and then after that I got this new power pun. So macam Endeavour tengok, alah Mamat ni macam kalau nak put peribahasa macam anjing nak kejar ada tulang tu kan, dia tengok ada tulang kat dalam air, aku nak juga. So lala judul tak dapat. So rather than having two weak skills that he can use, it's better for him to have one skill that he master, and then later on got time you go learn the other one lah. Because right now dia punya power management pun dia tak boleh nak push to 20% subconsciously. He cannot, because sekarang ni kan dia ada macam I don't have a prop to use. Then let's say kalau dia punya 15% is his stage where he can use his ability without thinking. To use the Air Force without him getting in pain or whatnot kan, yang dia tembak semua tu, he needs to push at a higher power output tau. Masalahnya ini pun dia tak boleh buat subconscious lagi tau. He cannot on a like for 3 seconds push to 20%, I shoot the Air Force and drop back to 15. Meaning body dia without feeling any pain or fatigue needs to be at 15% maximum. To go beyond boleh. But it mungkin akan jadi penat lah. Macam kita jalan, we have a certain walking speed. We go faster than that, kita tak boleh sustain. Kaki sakit lah, kejang and whatnot. So DEKU has the same problem. Kalau he cannot subconsciously push to 20%, it will be hard for him to start using the Air Force as a proper weapon.
Tapi Air Force is a new thing that dia baru practice like at the end of season 4 kan, masa Gentleman Thief punya
benda baru. So benda tu pun dia tak master lagi. So instead of kau nak kejar semua benda-benda baru ni, kau master yang kau punya basic dulu.
Black Week dia kontot gila kot macam.
Dia tak tanya lagi. Kau nak buat apa dengan benda tu? What's your plan with that?
Oh, tak benda tahu. Ni boleh jadi whip sebenarnya.
Sebenarnya kan dia panjang.
Sedih.
Dia kalau macam kita main card game Magic kan. Aku letak this one single card, when A, B, C and D happen, I win the game automatically.
Magical Christmas Land.
It's not going to happen lah bro. Takkan jadi ni.
Kan.
Kalau by that logic kan, aku pun dah kahwin Nora Danish kau tahu by now. Gadget magic lah. It does not happen. Ini semua mengarut.
Aduh. Okay, Anri, apakah pendapat kau tentang this verbal bullshit daripada ataupun word vomit daripada kita punya master, kita punya mentor? Ya, silakan.
Okay, it's bullshit, but it's the right bullshit lah. But hearing all that kan, you wish Samuel L. Jackson keluarkan and say, Deku 3Ms. Muscle memory mother toot. Okay. It's same effect. But we all tak realize kan just how similar Endeavor dengan Deku is. They are operating at the same wavelength. They're speaking the same languages. They're speaking on the same technicalities. So I find it very funny kan for All Might's punya biggest rival kan has so much in common dengan dia punya protege.
I think because macam Shaz cakap, he had to earn it. It didn't come easily to him macam All Might. You know, like, yay, number one. You know, it's like,
I think it's because they both suffer a lot lah.
Tapi dalam manga, was it like this? Was it the
it was like
jailer?
this.
Oh.
Yeah, it was all, but we don't hear it. So
Itulah.
Yeah, so you read it, so you're okay with reading it, but when you hear it, you're like, apa ni?
You hear it in the anime, right? And you're like, oh, so painful. Someone end me. Deku cakap and then apa and then say, oh like that lah. And then Endeavor pula bullshit and then apa Deku.
Kelakar saya.
It's like macam dua ayam bercakap tau. Apa you know they're speaking something but you don't not interested.
Yes.
You just want to see them fight.
Itulah. Okeylah, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke harapan kami bagi episod minggu ini. Okay, so judul episod minggu ini adalah Long Time No See, Selkie, yang bakal memfokuskan kepada Ochako dan Asui serta kepulangan si hero Selkie. So penting untuk difahami bahawa episod ini adalah anime original dan tidak pernah wujud dalam manga. Kenapa kita ada filler episod ni? I don't really understand. Anri, kalau kau boleh explain?
I think it's because they wanted to have enough build up for this season, for next season. Next season, I think they're going to touch on the villain punya arc.
Yes.
Where Shiragaki will meet with Redestro for the first time and see how the two parties become aligned. So we have ini episode keberapa? 13 atau 14?
15.
Ini 15. So next week the Selkie episode is 16. So we're looking at possibly 8 or 9 more episodes. I don't know if the villain arc is going to be covered during that time. So I'm guessing that they're going to drag on this training with Endeavor, build up with their ties, whatever it is, with Endeavor, and then they wanted to fill this thing as much as possible with stuff yang tak relevant with that villain arc next time. So that's my guess. Unless they want to rush the plot for the villain
So that
arc.
means the 4 months later tu, we're not going to see it in the next 9 episodes ke? Is that the reality of it?
There is a chance kan, maybe it's going to be back-to-back punya season punya episode. Maybe now it's the summer. After summer is going to be autumn. Maybe My Hero Academia is going to appear at the autumn punya season punya anime showcase. Tapi it's not confirmed yet, so I doubt it. Maybe we can see it for a few more other seasons, but I'm not sure at this point because there has been not much talk about the next season in terms of release tau. They know about we know about the plot, we know about the story, but we don't know about the timing.
Yeah.
Because kalau tak silap, a lot of anime has been pushed back one season. Case in point, Shield Hero. It was supposed to be released this year, but it's pushed next year. So without much information, I cannot actually tell if this is going to be the only filler anime for this season, for season 5. Maybe there's going to be a few more kalau betul-betul dia nak build up, tapi tak nak touch apa the villain punya arc.
And then I saw on Twitter today yang the reason that why Endeavour agency arc is brought forward instead of the Meta Liberation Army arc is because the movie is set during the Endeavour agency arc punya time, not during the Meta. So that's why diorang tonggang terbalikkan. Kita ada soalan since last week, kenapa diorang terbalikkan shit. So
yeah, I think that's most likely reason. If
so it's
I
like
were
padding upon padding. It's like, oh, we have a padding movie, therefore we need to bring this arc in front so that we can become padding before the good shit, which is the Meta Liberation arc.
yeah, it makes sense because we're seeing a lot of bullshit being used as fillers in this episode. So it's no surprise for me, kan. They're going to stretch it out and drag it out as much as possible in the following episodes. We get one, at least now, kan, we can confirm that the next episode is going to be filler.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? Maybe we get another filler episode later on. My guess is the next season yang nak follow the villain arc. The villain arc is going to cover the first core. Second core maybe return back to the hero fighting against the villain back.
Okay. Shazli, are you happy with what's going to happen in the next 8 to 9 weeks, knowing that most likely is padded filler?
Okay je, jangan it's more of this bebel punya type of filler lah. If it's actual character development for the rest of the classmates, I'm okay. Because the difference dengan Anri is aku tak baca any of the manga, so I have no idea what is filler, what is not.
Yes, kau tak ada expectation of like cepat lah, I want to get to that. Yeah.
Cuma kalau you nak anticipate dari segi number of episodes remaining from episode sekarang 15, kau dah nampak tau episode 15 pun ada banyak filler bebel ni.
Yeah.
It does seem that they are not going to open a new arc.
So we're not going to get to see 4 months later, you think?
No, I don't think so. Because kalau tidak, they wouldn't have the need to make the next arc is too big to fit in the second half or the last 1/3 of the season. They want to make it probably a full season. So they have to, extend it here and there lah. Dari segi filler and all this. Because kalau tidak, you rush it, macam tak shock pula. You are waiting for the big reveal of what the plan is.
Aku rasa quite depressed, man. Macam it's like the next 8 episodes don't really matter. I don't know. I guess we'll see in the next 8 weeks.
I hope if there's a filler episode yang kemudian hopefully we can see more of BAKUGO or Miruko, someone,
BAKUGO tu
bagi fan service lah kan, kalau kau nak filler pun kan. Itulah.
If they show an episode about the invisible girl, kan, it could be okay, but I'm not interested because it's not something that we can see. So there's that lah. Maybe you can see Mojiro.
And Asui is like among the highest in terms of fan favorite kan. That's why most likely their filler episode was created lah. If there's only one filler episode, if there's more, then aku tak tahu lah. Most likely they have to mix around. Kalau tak silap aku, some of the teams were mixed guys and girls.
Yeah.
So they'll probably show some of the more popular punya pairs lah. Macam Mineta punya course will probably be played for laugh lah as usual lah.
I don't mind, man. Just jangan banyak monolog macam ni lah. Aku tak tahu.
Itulah.
Alright, so dengan itu aku rasa berakhirlah episod hari ini. So apakah pendapat korang tentang episod minggu lepas dan apakah harapan korang untuk episod minggu ini serta the remainder of second core of season 5 My Hero Academia? Tell us in the comment section below. Terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, kaki anime kita Shaz serta kaki manga kita Anri. Jumpa lagi di episod yang seterusnya. Majulah fandom untuk negara. Ending broadcast in 3, 2. Can we like lengthen it for another 12 seconds? Okay, 9 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 3.